The geometry of scars. There is no such thing as a perfect cut. Surgeons like to believe there is. We chase it our entire careers. A line so clean, so precise, it leaves almost no trace. An incision that heals into a whisper of a memory, but it's an illusion. A beautiful Aragon Lee. Every time you open something up, whether it's a human body or the fabric of reality, you leave a mark, a scar. The only question is how well you can stitch it closed. My name is Stephen Strange, and I used to be a surgeon. I was one of the best. I sought perfection in the delicate dance of nerve endings and blood vessels. I thought control was something you could hold in your hands, something you could master with 10 fingers and a titanium scalpel. Then I lost my hands. And in searching for a way to heal them, I found a different kind of scalpel. One made of light and intention. One that could cut not just through flesh, but through dimensions, through time itself. I thought I had been given the ultimate tool of control. I thought I could finally make that perfect cut. I was a fool. A child given a key to a room full of loaded weapons, thinking they were toys. The first thing you learn in the mystic arts isn't how to cast a spell. It's how to bear the weight of what you now know. You learn that the universe is not a singular, elegant machine, but a sprawling, chaotic, infinitely fragile ecosystem of possibilities, and I have seen too many of them. Imagine for a moment that every choice you've ever made, every turn you didn't take, branched off into its own separate reality. A whole universe born from you choosing coffee over tea. Now imagine being able to see them, all of them, not as abstract theories, but as living, breathing worlds. I've walked through libraries where the books scream with the last words of dying civilizations. I've stood on the shores of oceans made of forgotten memories. I have seen futures so bright they would blind you, and realities so grotesque they would shatter your mind into a million pieces. I once looked forward in time, to see all the possible outcomes of a single coming conflict. 14,605,000. A number so specific, so absurdly precise. People hear that and they think, how wonderful, he saw the one way to win. They don't understand the burden of the other 14,604,000. I had to live them. I had to feel every single failure. I died, over and over. Sometimes quickly, a flash of energy turning my atoms to dust. Sometimes slowly, watching my friends, my world, get torn apart piece by piece while I was helpless to stop it. I felt the cold grip of Thanos' gauntlet close around my throat. I felt my bones turn to sand. I watched worlds burn until the stars themselves grew cold. And I had to carry the memory of every single loss, every scream, every last fading hope into that one single timeline where we had a chance. That knowledge is a prison. It isolates you. How can I sit with someone in a park and talk about their mortgage when I carry the silent screams of a billion extinguished souls in my head? How can I appreciate a sunset when I've seen suns devoured by cosmic horrors from beyond the veil? The man I was, the surgeon, he would have tried to fix it all. He would have seen all that suffering, all that chaos, and believed he could meticulously, carefully cut out the disease. He would have played God, convinced it was for the good of the patient. But the universe is not a patient on an operating table. There is no sterile field. There is no perfect diagnosis. And the oath I took, the ancient solemn vow of a Sorcerer Supreme, is a far heavier burden than the Hippocratic one. Do no harm is a simple creed when you're dealing with one life at a time. It becomes a philosophical nightmare when you're the guardian of all of them. The temptation is the real enemy. It's a constant whisper in the back of my mind, the knowledge that I have the power to change things, to go back, to warn that young, brilliant neurosurgeon not to get in his Lamborghini on that rainy night, to save him from the shattered bones and the shredded nerves, to let him live out his life in blissful, arrogant ignorance, or to go back further, to save my sister, to pull her from the ice, to feel the warmth return to her skin, to hear her laugh again. Just one cut, one tiny revision to the sacred timeline. Who would it hurt? That is the serpent's question, and I have seen the answer. I saw a reality where I saved her. I broke the absolute point. I did it 1,000 times, 1,000,000. Each time the universe corrected itself. It found another way for her to die. A car crash. Ostraibulet. An illness. Because her death, that single tragic event, was the crucible that forged the man who would one day be needed to save everything. Without that loss, without that first profound scar on my soul, I would never have had the desperation, the sheer bloody-minded arrogance to seek out Kamartaj. I would have lived and died as a brilliant, wealthy, and ultimately insignificant man. And the world, the universe, would have been left defenseless when the real threats came. My personal paradise would have cost the lives of trillions, so I had to let her die. Again and again and again in my mind. The greatest act of love I could offer her memory was to honor the terrible necessity of her absence. This is the geometry of scars. They are not mistakes. They are not failures. They are the anchor points of causality. They are the load-bearing walls of reality. We see a scar and we see something broken. But the universe sees a lesson learned. A wound survived. A structure that has been tested and held. My hands are a testament to that. They shake. Even now, after all this time, there is a tremor I can't control. For years, I saw it as a symbol of my failure. The broken instruments that could no longer perform their function, I was wrong. The tremor isn't a weakness, it's a connection, a constant physical reminder of the fragility of things. It's a seismograph, tuned to the vibrations of the multiverse. When I hold them out, I'm not just seeing damaged flesh and bone, I'm seeing the hands that held the time stone. I'm seeing the hands that weaved the spells that protected our world. They tremble with the memory of all the timelines they've touched, all the immense, terrible power they have channeled. They are no longer the hands of a surgeon, designed to cut away imperfections. They are the hands of a guardian, designed to hold things together. The one path to victory. It wasn't just about a sequence of events. It wasn't a clever strategy. It was a lesson in acceptance. I had to see every possible way we could lose. Not to find the one way to win, but to understand why we had to win in that specific way. To understand the cost, the sacrifice. I didn't guide Tony Stark to his death. I couldn't. I simply illuminated the only path where his death would have meaning, where his sacrifice would purchase a future for his daughter, for everyone. I had to let him make the cut. Because some scars belong to others. They are not yours to heal or to prevent. They are theirs to bear. And to try and take that from them is the ultimate act of arrogance. It is to deny them their own story, their own strength. So I stand here now, in this place of quiet solitude, the Sanctum Sanctorum, a ridiculous name for a building that is anything but sanctified or solitary. It is a nexus, a wound in the world that I am tasked to stitch closed every single day. The silence is a lie. If you could hear what I hear, you would hear the constant scratching of things that want to get in, the whispers of dead gods on the cosmic winds, the faint, dissonant music of collapsing realities. My duty is not to win battles. My duty is to maintain the balance, to be the curator of the impossible, the librarian of apocalypses that must never be written. I am no longer a man who seeks to erase scars. I am a man who understands their purpose. They are a map of survival. They are the price of existence. Every healed wound on the body of reality is a testament to a battle won, a crisis averted. And my role is to be the silent, sleepless surgeon who watches over the patient, who knows that the most important part of any procedure is not the cutting, but the healing, who understands that true mastery is not about imposing your will on the universe. It's about having the wisdom, the strength, and the humility to let it be what it must, to protect its integrity, scars, and all. My hands still shake, and I'm grateful for it. They remind me that for all the power I wield, I am still made of the same fragile material as everything else. They remind me that control is an illusion, and that the only perfect cut is the one you never make.